The Department of Homeland Security conducting a raid at a house in Holmby Hills, believed to be connected to Sean Combs, the rapper and music executive, perhaps being linked to a sex trafficking investigation. Let's go live to Stu Mundell up in Sky Fox right now for more. Stu, what do we know?
Yeah, I heard her say we're live. Copy.
You got caught with your pants down, buddy. I heard her say we're live. Get to work, bro.
All right, there you see Sky Fox overhead of this home where, again, we are seeing Department of Homeland Security investigators doing a search of this home now. Let's go to Haley Winslow, who's live on the ground right there. Haley, what do we know?
Sandra, this is going to turn into a huge...
Haley pulled out the prom dress for this one.
...scene that is going to be an all-day thing, and it involves, yes, P. Diddy. The home is actually registered to Bad Boy Films, which is a division of Bad Boy Entertainment, basically his company, and the home's registered to that and to his daughter. Now, from Sky Fox, Stu up there, he got some shots of a few people coming out of the home. Those people have been detained. Now, we're trying to still connect the dots. We do have some sources on scene here that we're getting this information from. We were actually the first ones here with about 30
AR's up.
At least there are 3 Bearcats on scene here. This just all unfolded.
Ooh-wee. Yo, when there's smoke, there's fire. So what did you do, Diddy? What did you do? They got this karma coming back to you. They got your people getting pulled out the house like this.
I would say less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up. So we're just down the hill. If you look up the street where Tony is,
daughters
right
or
right,
girls or somebody like
and
arrested.
Law enforcement on the other side of those bushes, basically,
is that
oh no,
not even.
It is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of Bad Boy Entertainment. And
all right, so there you go. There goes a misconception right there. Don't think you can get your LLC, put the crib in your LLC's name, and not get raided. They still coming for you.
Home in particular is registered not only to Bad Boy Films, but to one of P. Diddy's daughters. Now, we are hearing from law enforcement sources that this involves sex trafficking.
Oh, there you go. So it's not a Keefy D allegation that got them there. According to the young lady in the prom dress, it's something SA related.
To what extent or the details about that, but you better believe we will be on this all day, keeping you updated with the very latest. We're now recording live here on the scene in Holmby Hills. I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
Haley, thank you. And you can see from that ground shot a very active scene right there.
Who you trafficking, Diddy? Huh? What do you got going on? Everything that's done in the dark eventually comes to the light. Let's go see what 50 got to say about this. I'm sure 50 got something slick to say about it. Let's see. What do we got here? We got video. 50 said, shit just got real. The feds in all the cribs. Damn, they got the kids in cuffs. S trafficking type of deal. Y'all know I got to switch words around. YouTube be acting funny. Please hit that like button. Salutes. All right, so 50 already got his 2 cents off right there. Let's see what he's talking about here. Now it's not Diddy do it. It's Diddy's done. They don't come like that unless they got a case. Does look like it. They spent a lot of resources coming to get him today, right? They spent a lot of resources. There's a lady's cat up in the tree, old lady up in the tree somewhere that they could be helping, but they're not helping her. Today they after Diddy, all right? They over there dancing around his crib, going through his crib. What you do, Diddy? So 50's on his ass already, and he got a point there. They don't come like that unless they got a case on you. And the thing is, if they would have found him at any of these locations, and let's say the searchers come up with nothing, were they going to turn around and take him? They're going to ride out and arrest him at that moment? Or how does that work? But like, yeah, is this just a search warrant? Is this just, or do they have an arrest warrant for him? Who knows? Shout out Jonathan Pantoja. He says someone gave him the heads up. Gave Diddy the heads up? You think so? Man, I mean, I think the heads up would have just been how hot he is for the last however long it's been. If he had anything in them houses, he's a dummy. Wright said he's probably hiding out at Jeffrey Epstein's island. Yeah, who knows? He probably got a key. There's been multiple allegations from multiple people. Of course, you always got to think that, somebody's coming for, sometimes somebody's just coming for bread. It's just a money grab for some people, you know what I'm saying? For other people, it's their truth. It's what happened to them. For some, you know, that I'm not a believer in the you just believe everybody blindly. I'm also not the believer at trumped up accusations or people that regret decisions they made and then turn them into accusations. I'm not with that kind of shit. I'm with the truth. You know what I'm saying? And if the truth is the truth and you got it coming, then you got it coming. And Diddy, if that means you, that means you. I guess when your karma comes, man. If you had it coming, you had it coming. If it wasn't for this, it was for something else. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? It's all gonna come out in the wash. That's for sure. This doesn't look good at all, but it look 100 times worse if they was dragging his ass out the house, wouldn't it? Kicking and screaming, talking about bad boy, bad boy. He had to have caught wind of this. Who knows where he's at? You know, where's Waldo? Where's Diddy? We gotta find them. JP312 said feds don't come unless they got you. And it seems like they got him, but they ain't got him. They expected him to be in one of those 1,000 rooms right there in that crib. Look at all those big boy houses. But where's Diddy? Diddy hiding in one of those other houses? That's him right there at that barbecue grill right there at that other crib. He wasn't home though. It would have been a bad look. Now, if there's warrants for him, do you guys think he left the country? You think he's in the water somewhere? This doesn't just go away quietly now. The opportunities and the chances for this to go away quietly have expended themselves.
Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs. Let's bring in CNN security correspondent Josh Campbell and CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson. Josh, let me start with you. What do these raids by federal agents in multiple locations tell you about the seriousness of this investigation?
What does it tell y'all about the seriousness of this investigation? That they was willing to spend that money to go find this dude in multiple places or hit his hit where he keeps everything all at the same time. What could they be looking for? Other than him. And then whatever comes with it, they want to get him and whatever they could find. Evidently their allegations are strong, coming from somewhere. He's probably regretting giving Cassie all that money.
Yeah, Wolf, a very significant development here, seeing this law enforcement action taking place. I'll point out, just to be clear at the outset, we don't know that Sean Diddy Combs himself is the subject or target of a federal investigation. So it's just worth pointing that out at this hour. But
yeah, but I don't think they're going to spend that money on somebody that's lesser than him, like come for one of his kids for something they got going on or this or that. I don't know about all that. If they trying to get you all over the place, they coming for you, bro.
Two properties associated with him. We saw the feds descend on those properties. We saw on aerial footage federal agents both here in the Los Angeles area as well as in Miami at those residences. Now, the Department of Homeland Security, their what's called HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, gave CNN a statement. I'll read you part of that when asked about what this activity is. They say that earlier today, HSI New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. That is it, confirming that they are conducting what they're deeming law enforcement action, which could indicate search warrants being conducted there, could indicate arrests being conducted. We just don't know at this hour specifically what that law enforcement action is. It is worth pointing out, though, that Combs himself obviously has faced significant legal woes in recent months. I'll give you just the highlights of what actually occurred. In November, he was sued for rape and abuse by a former partner. That lawsuit was then settled very quickly, but in December, he faced sexual assault.
That was settled so quickly that the next day he was dancing around on Instagram. I don't think we're gonna see him dancing around on Instagram tomorrow. How many of y'all think he's gonna be in a cell next to Kels? Huh? Writing hits on the wall in the penitentiary. Sheesh.
Allegations in a complaint filed in the Southern District of New York. The suit was brought by a woman referred to as Jane Doe, who said that she was 17 at the time when these allegations took place back in 2003. He was accused of sex trafficking and gang rape, among other allegations, also in that suit naming two of his associates. Of course, Combs denied any wrongdoing there.
All right. If she's underage, you played yourself. You were supposed to know, right? If she's overage and she was just as much a freak as you, and y'all traveled the country you know, having a good time, and then now you regret it later, and you call it something that it's not, that I don't agree with. But if that is what you did and you was just dragging somebody around for other people's pleasure, that's a whole different story. You know what I'm saying? Innocent till proven, of course. But, you know, but those things go that way. Nothing be as cut and dry as we be thinking it is.
And then just last month, a former employee of Combs filed a suit also in the state of New York, accusing him of sexual assault, of sexual harassment, and, quote, grooming. That former employee stated that he had worked for Combs between 2022 and 2023. Among those allegations, this former employee, a male employee, said that Combs did not compensate him for his music production work and forced him to procure and interact with sex workers, threatened him with serving alcoholic beverages laced with drugs to guests at parties at Combs' home. And then Combs' son, Justin Combs, was also accused of soliciting prostitutes and underage girls at his father's homes. Again, the Combs have denied any wrongdoing, but just a series of allegations that we've seen taking place. Final point, Wolf.
Once you guys get to the point where, you know what I'm saying, you weirded out like that, where you got to deal with underage girls and shit like that, like, all right, get on out of here. You go with the greatest villains that everybody worships, the greatest hero criminals that everybody worships. The moment they deal with underage, you know, humans, as far as I'm concerned, it's dead. All of that shit's dead. Again, I believe it was Jonathan asked me if I could separate the art from the artist. That's a different thing. I'll tell you what, as important as the art is, it's not as important as what the artist did to somebody and how that affects somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you filthy like that, go on, sit your punk ass in jail, dog. I don't care. You lucky somebody don't come out here and smoke you. Here's the thing with Diddy is that there's always been smoke. 50 don't say what he say, and Mace don't say what he says, and all these guys don't say what they say for no reason. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You know? Then this guy do weird shit. He want to party with Fabulous. Want a party. He ain't never party, bro. Pushing the line on it. Like, bro, you high? You talking too much. Crazy. But there's always been smoke when it came to Diddy. So evidently there's some fire there somewhere. They didn't come for no reason.
I'll note is that while we don't know the specific allegations or why the feds are at these residences, it is worth pointing out the agency that is conducting this law enforcement activity. It's not the FBI, it's not the DEA or the ATF. This is HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. For those unfamiliar, this is an agency that has long been the forefront specifically at human trafficking investigations. So although we don't have the specifics yet, we're starting to we can glean just based on.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Human trafficking? Did he order a cargo box of women from Romania or some shit? Like, shout out Billy Finnegan on the check-in. He said, this is the problem when you have money and power. You think you can do whatever you want and you're untouchable. Absolutely, dog. These fools go crazy. They just run around and think they got impunity, you know? Victimize everybody. They was never tough. They never have no power. That's why I trip on a lot of people. I've always said, you cannot give a lame power. If you give a lame power, he's gonna abuse that shit. Diddy ain't no different. He came into the game in controversy. He came into the game cutting corners on security and getting people trampled in concerts. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff is gonna come back. That's just the beginning of it for him. From there went the whole East Coast, West Coast. From there went there's so many people that got things that he said and they coming out their mouth. Like, but you get to that level, you get crazy. You don't know how to act. What's the Wall of Sound guy? I can't remember his name. Phil Spector. Same thing. He's a little lame, a little dork. Don't get none. He gets a lot of money. Now he want to hold hammers to chicks. He wants to smack them around. Next thing you know, you're in the middle of an unalivement beef, bruh. Can't give a lame power. That's a fact. Your character is your character. All right? And if you got a horrible character and you throw a couple $1 million at it, you're going to act the fool. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan said Gene been doing interviews speaking on this as well for years, though. For years and years, you know? He said out of his mouth that Diddy said out of his mouth he's trying to win and he don't give a damn if Tupac and Biggie got to go. Now, could that be just Gene talking? Absolutely, it could be Gene talking. But could it be the truth? That too. You know? Look at that video where they was talking to Big about what happened to Pac, and Diddy was just dead-faced there. It's either you on all kind of drugs and you don't want to admit that, or you paralyzed in some kind of weird guilt, that's followed you to today.
Which agency has the lead, the direction this might go. But again, we don't yet know that Combs himself was the target of the investigation, Wolf. We do know at this hour that federal agents were at 2 of his homes, both here in Los Angeles and in Florida, Wolf.
Yeah, important points. Joey Jackson, now let me repeat, we don't know if Sean Diddy Combs himself is under investigation, but clearly, Joey, it's not good if your homes are actually being raided.
And where you at? Where's the Diddy cam? We need the Diddy cam. Who got the Diddy cam popping? We need to know where he's at right now. Somebody find him. Diddy, seems like you popped, Papas. We don't know where you at, though. They got to find you. I hope somebody's documenting it wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? In the future, we need to see what your demeanor was. This is what we're used to from Diddy, from the music business, right? The behind-the-scenes documentary of what it was looking like while they was raiding your cribs and shit, The bottom of the barrel is these SA dudes, these PDF files. Again, I have to use code words. These dudes are the bottom of the barrel. I do not think they can be rehabilitated. And if you ask me if there was ever a reason or a necessity to use an unalivement law, it would be for them. That's how I feel about it. The problem is we can't know absolutely every case that we're getting right, so we can't be sitting around the same way we throw 40 years to innocent people and make them do 40 years in prison because we made a mistake or we didn't feel like investigating further. You can't be doing that with unaliving people unless they are guilty. But I don't think there's any type of redemption for somebody that can hurt kids or take it from women, or take it from anybody. If you have to take it from somebody, then you ain't got no place. You ain't got no place.
And I think, whatever conclusions can be drawn remain to be seen, right? There's not an indictment that we're talking about. That means that we're not speaking of a grand jury having rendered a conclusion, not as to guilt. That's not what grand jurors do, but as to reason to believe that a crime was committed and he committed them. Having said that, whenever you have a raid and an investigation, these things need to be really predicated upon, right? The precursor for this to happen would be some probable cause. What is that probable cause? We don't know. But let's go back to what Josh Campbell talked about, which are those various lawsuits. Now, lawsuits are civil actions in nature. They're not criminal at all. But what they do is they give authorities some guidelines and guideposts with respect to alleged conduct that was engaged in, with regard to who it was engaged in, what activities there were, what it involved. And so that if there's an investigation.
All of this bread these dudes got, all of these giant cribs, all of the good that they could do, and you getting hunted down for the bottom of the barrel-less shit. You lame as fuck. Diddy's pulling the move right now, jumping in a Cessna, hopping over to another island that got a little runway so he could jump on something else and cut bait. Diddy's probably at this moment regretting that he settled with Cassie, because he had to throw her all that bread and he's still getting popped off. It was still loud enough. What she did was loud enough to already have done the damage. You know what I'm saying? It was loud enough for the people in a position of power to make sure they looked into it. Or, figured out how to not implicate themselves, but implicate him. Because who knows how many people he got secrets on. Because that was the thing. I was talking to Zay about that in the chat earlier. We were talking about Epstein, and we were talking about, they were talking about, Epstein's fetish got him in trouble. I said, nah, guys. I said, it was way bigger than that. Like, this dude was in the business of blackmailing the most powerful people in the country, including maybe the rest of the world as well. And he would blackmail them with their diddler behavior. You know what I'm saying? And these people would, in exchange for this blackmail, give him whatever he wanted. I mean, there were rich, powerful men who just turned over billions of dollars to this guy for no reason, no record of a trade, no receipt. Give him houses, corporations, all of these treasures that they had. Why? Because he was holding it over their head. This guy had a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress over, on the wall of his house, like, you're my bitch. I got so much dirt on you, you're my bitch. Nothing can happen to me, right? which lets you know that he had enough information on people powerful enough to set him free, right? Or to unalive him in a joint. But which one was it? You know, I think it's probably better off they got him out of there. He probably had some kind of fail safe, like, all right, go ahead, unalive me for real and see that this don't get released or this don't get released. Who knows? I don't know. Conspiracy theory, right? Okay, but that's where Diddy's at. Who knows what kind of dirt Diddy got on other people?
Plentiful information. That information could be further investigated, right, by certainly this Homeland Security Agency. And as a result of that, they can work with their local law enforcement partners. What does that mean? It means that
all the good these dudes could do, and they just in the smut.
Collectively, law enforcement try to determine whether there's reason to believe that crimes were committed, and, you know, were those crimes carried out and associated in any way we don't know, you know, with Sean Combs. And so that remains to be seen. But before authorities, Wolf, can get into the home or property of anyone, you have to establish some firm basis to do that. And that is what at least we can conclude.
So we know they got a firm basis to get their ass in his house. Headstone said game over. I believe it too. I believe it's just a matter of finding him. Who knows how that pans out?
They had reason to believe that there were crimes involving sex trafficking, apparently, and that these areas potentially can give more information with respect to the specifics. And I think they would be looking for computer devices and other devices which would seem to indicate
they had enough to get in the house. Now whatever they find in the house is they'll have to talk to a judge and say we got this, and then that'll give them more leeway to investigate some more. Or they got everything they need and all they need is him. Or his kids are squealing on him right now.
Information as to whether there was any criminality very early in the process, but certainly we know that these have been carried out, and we'll see what, if any, information is gleaned to be suggestive of any criminality.
Very interesting. Josh, let me get back to you. You know the FBI very well. Under what circumstances would raids like these be conducted?
Well, this would require, if it is indeed a search that's being conducted, it would require federal officers, in this case with Homeland Security investigations, going to a judge and seeking a warrant, indicating that we believe that evidence of a crime could be located in these residences. And then this third party, an independent judge, has to approve that warrant. And then you see take place what's happening now on our screen. I particularly want to focus on, you see that large RV-looking vehicle there. This is the mobile command post that federal agencies will send whenever they're going to be somewhere, likely for a long time. If you look at these residences, we're talking about very large estates. And so, as Joey was mentioning, something as simple as a thumb drive or anywhere where electronic media could be stored, if it's on that warrant, authorities can search that residence top to bottom, looking for any type of device, any type of storage mechanism that fits within the four corners of that search warrant. Now, again, I'll caution, we don't know specifically why they were there. It does tell us, I think, that, you know, just because you see that large posture of all of these federal vehicles that are there, including this mobile command post, this was likely not something as simple as an arrest where you show up and you find a person that you're seeking, but likely more along.
Oh, but they seeking you, Diddy boy. They seeking you. They trying to find you right now.
The lines of a search warrant, which falls in line with what HSI told us in that statement when they say law enforcement actions. That's something that we often hear from federal agents as a euphemism for conducting some type of search. But again, both of these residences, both where I am here in LA, it's just a few miles here from the CNN LA bureau where this search is taking place. Also in Miami, you see this large cadre.
I don't understand it. It's never been something that I can understand. I never grasped. I guess when I was young, it would have probably, if I'd have got big money young, I'd have probably blown it all over the place. But I can never see myself losing myself. Does that make sense? I can never see myself losing myself to the shit that these fools lost themselves to. Bullshit.
Homes. Again, the big question now, what are they looking for? We're waiting for specifics on that as this search continues.
And Joey, video also shows heavily armed agents entering Diddy's home. How unusual is that?
So it's not unusual. I mean, I think that what law enforcement does is certainly they want to be protective of themselves, potentially to deter any type of activity that could occur of a criminal variety. Not that there would be any, but
Criminal
you never
variety,
know.
they got a whole army there. What they thought, the whole bad boy staff was gonna jump out and start moonwalking their way down the driveway and get into a war. Y'all got tanks and shit. HS said, "What up, Shy?" I say, "Put his ass in a cell with Suge." You think? I don't know, man. Suge might be a shell of himself. Diddy still works out. Diddy might take him. Suge will have to have some, Suge will have to have some of his guys with him and shit. But that'd be dope. He got to be avoiding other people's cell phones right now, so he ain't where nobody could peep him, because if he was, we'd see it already. Diddy, you cannot avoid this karma. If these stories are true and you're El Traficante, they are coming for you, Diddy. Right? In the name of Tupac Shakur, they coming for you, man. Take that. Take that.
And so as a result of that, once they're armed, not only armed literally, but armed with respect to a warrant, that would suggest that they have reason to be there, that there's criminality that would be afoot, potentially, they go, law enforcement does, and they make sure that the area is secure such that they can get continue to investigate. Very important to note, Wolf, that these are investigative stages. Warrants are typical in any type of investigation, right? This is the United States of America. Everyone has rights.
Damn.
But you don't get into someone's home without establishing that there may be some what we call indicia of criminality. Law enforcement will evaluate whatever they find in connection with this search. And if that search bears fruit with respect to any potential criminality on any computer devices, any cell phone devices, any, thumb drives or anything else, then they will connect the dots.
Hot.
And if it's appropriate, they'll move to the next level. And that could lead to something more serious. Again, all speculation at this point, but we know now that they certainly had enough information to be in California and Miami. What stems from that remains to be seen.
All right, Joey Jackson, Josh Campbell to both.
Well, they sent the whole army over there, man. Everybody got matching shoes on and shit. How many of them slipped a watch in their pocket? What you think? Slipped priceless something somewhere? Look at the suits. All right, we're going to go get them. All right, we heard nothing about them catching him yet, though. I haven't. Let me check the timeline here on the phone. Miami, Florida. Damn, officer. Hold on. Jay Caster, we on the hunt for Diddy right now, man. We on a hunt for Diddy. We're going to feed him to Cain Velasquez. That's what it should be. Diddy Love Air private jet tracked amid raids down on Caribbean island. Diddy's homes were raided in the U.S. to kick off the week, but the guy's own private jet is miles away in a completely different nation. Although it's unclear if he's aboard himself. Also, they've only tracked the plane. TMZ's tracked Diddy's personal Love Air LLC. That Love Air plane is probably as famous as that notorious Epstein plane now, or infamous. The well-known black Gulfstream 5 that Diddy has flaunted and flown for years now, and it looks like the aircraft is currently on the ground in Antigua, which is down in the Caribbean. All right. Oh, that's a picture of him? No, that's an old picture of him fresh off the flight. Based on the flight activity viewed by TMZ, Diddy's jet has been up and down California between Sunday and Monday. Taking off from Sacramento Executive Airport Sunday evening around 5:30 and landing at Palm Springs International about an hour later. So he's just California top to bottom. Jonathan said he's bogus if he dipped on his children. He definitely did. So he was bouncing up and down California yesterday. So an hour after that, around 7:30 p.m., Diddy's jet took off from Palm Springs yet again and landed at Van Nuys Airport, which is in the LA area. About 30 minutes later, around 8 p.m. Pacific time. Around 9 a.m. Pacific time Monday, the jet took off from Van Nuys Airport and landed at some point in Antigua. Oh, that boy's on the run in a panic. Probably lit right now. The plane is currently grounded there, although the flight data is yet to be up to update and register him as having officially landed. So there's no record that he landed there as far as officially. In any case, it's definitely Diddy's jet, no question. The only thing that remains unanswered is whether Diddy is on the plane. We don't have any evidence he is at this point. And we also don't know what's happening on the scene. As we reported, two of Diddy's homes in LA and Miami were swarmed by federal law enforcement agents Monday, and armed officials stormed the properties, taking some people into custody, including his sons Justin and King. Unclear if any arrests took place. The raids are believed to have stemmed from accusations hurled at Diddy in multiple lawsuits, which have touched on alleged human and trafficking, among other claims, all of which he's vehemently denied. We've reached out to Diddy's reps and lawyers. It's safe to say they didn't hit him back. He's dead in the water for something. They got enough something on him to send two armies, you know what I'm saying, on two sides of the country to his cribs. Shout out Jay Castro. He said if he was running, why would he go to the place that has extradition? I don't think he's running. I think he might be going through it though. You know what I'm saying? I think that might be a jumping point if he's ready to run. If they say he hasn't got off the plane and there's no record of him being off the plane, they just know the plane's there, shit, you probably got a jumping off point. I know this much, Jay Cash, at least I do know. That motherfucker wasn't home when they came knocking. He was not home when they came a-knocking. All right? He wasn't home yesterday. Yesterday he was flying up and down the coast of California, back and forth, and then took himself to the Caribbean. Don't know if that's running. Could be a lot of contemplation, though. Could be a lot of figuring. Jay Cash said, hell no, you know he absolutely got the tip off. Ben had the tip off. Been going through. He's looking like Carlos Leder right now on the third night of being awake. Just, you know, George Young and Blow. He's just looking crazy right now. Or he's cool, calm, and collected. He's just been on the airplane talking with his lawyers. Or he's trafficking right now as we speak. Son of a bitch. Gotta go get Diddy. Motherfucker. Feds don't play like that. If they get him, he's definitely a flight risk with the current antics with this plane. Just the fact that, you know, they didn't find him in one of his cribs. Again, he's a dude that be everywhere. So that was probably a shot in the dark anyway. Having a chance of catching him at one of his cribs, you know. You were probably better off raiding the Ritz-Carlton and catching him. You know, probably got suites up there with a bunch of sweet shit going on. They ain't going to spend these resources, and it ain't for something. That's for sure. They're not going to do that. I'd be surprised. And again, we don't know if the plane was just doing things up and down California and Diddy wasn't even there. He probably, who knows? He could be in New York. He could be anywhere. We're going to find out, though. We're going to find out. It ain't going to be long. He's the talk of the town today, which makes me think we should be looking for something else. I doubt that they just have a search warrant either. There got to be an arrest warrant in there somewhere. Something they're not going to say. Something they're not going to say out loud. Thought he was untouchable all them years getting away with it. Yeah, like, it's an arrogance. They got an arrogance of this. Get money. You give power and money to a lame, and that arrogance takes over. It's a wrap. I thought he was outrageous for doing his little dance or whatever he did after he settled with Cassie. Dog, it's for you to pay that money, shut the fuck up, and stay away from the camera. Because you're out here paying for allegations that evidently ain't allegations because you're paying that much for them. I'm sure he's regretting that payoff right now because it was too loud by then. He should have paid her the night before. That was a negotiation that went wrong and somehow came out to the people, right? When she called his bluff and she came out with the lawsuit. He should have paid her the night before. Whatever she asked for the night before, he should have gave her that because it led to all of this. He's popped now, you know? All of his shit's going to come out to the light. Eventually, it was going to happen. Because all of us knew, we didn't know what it was, but we knew there was skeletons in his closet. And we knew those skeletons were going to end up coming out one day, right? But he should have paid Cassie that day. They were arguing. I'm sure they were negotiating. And he said, nah, man, I ain't doing it. And she called his bluff. She did it. And now he can't close it. Pandora's box was opened, and he thought he paid for it. It slammed it shut and danced on it. Cat was out the bag, and then even if people came out with frivolous, you know, money grab lawsuits, it still put more attention on it, more attention on it, more attention on it, and now his homes are being raided. Again, I'm not with. If women are real victims, then that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? Again, I believe that a man that could do something like that to a woman ain't got no place in this world. But I also believe that a woman that, out of regret for her own decisions, turns around and calls it something that it's not, that I don't agree with. That I don't agree with. And all of these young ladies that have put dudes in prison, falsely accusing them, and then have come on later to apologize and admit it, they should serve the amount of time that he served. That should be a law.
Do you think, to your point, and to the Associated Press here, they says, we don't know if Combs is a target of this investigation. Based on what we saw today, we don't want to speculate, but knowing that this investigation in some form or in some capacity, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to be an indictment or charges against him. But the very fact they raided 2 of his mansions on separate sides of the country, that's a pretty good indication he's going to be involved in this in some capacity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely involved in some capacity, but it's also just a good reminder that there's just so much we don't know. And, kudos to the Associated Press, where I still always admire the lines that they include in any story about how so-and-so's lawyer, we don't know if so-and-so has a lawyer. That's a standard line you see in Associated Press article, because they strive to be fair. And I think that's a good reminder that all of this is just speculation right now. We don't know what this is, and he has not been charged with a crime. However, if you just look at what's been going on, all the background, the civil allegations against him, I mean, it's obviously connected to what we've been hearing. It's just a matter of, what it is and why. I will say, the feds do like to operate under the element of surprise. So I think everything that's been going on with this latest lawsuit that was filed against him by Little Rod, and Diddy had hired Sean Hawley, who's a well-known criminal defense attorney in L.A., and he'd hired an attorney in New York, Bobby. She actually used to defend Ghislaine Maxwell. So he'd definitely been hiring some people with criminal defense experience, but I think he was really gearing up for...
Bruh, he hiring the people that defended Ghislaine Maxwell. That tells me everything I need to know right there. You know what I'm saying? That's some guilty by association shit right there, man. Wildin'. Chucky says supposedly him and Aaron Hall were tag teaming different. I don't doubt it. Aaron Hall probably groomed him. Told him one day, let me take you shopping. And it was a wrap after that. Who knows?
But I do think that this would kind of knock the wind out of anybody for at least a little bit, because like I said, I don't think they had any warning on this, and the feds do like to operate under the element of surprise.
That's right, and it does seem like kind of the floodgates have opened against Diddy. And to your point, Homeland Security investigator, they don't just show up, in the moment.
So rather than the chat said he knew it was coming. I think that that plane is a distraction, buying him some time. Quite possible. Yeah, just the fact that he wasn't home was shit, probably good enough for him. But I think the whole thing can be a distraction from something else, but who knows? But, he got Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers on the case and shit.
Ran these raids so exhaustively in the weeks and months prior. And I want to put this statement up. This is the last time, I believe, Diddy addressed all of this. This was back in December. I think it's worth, putting it up for the viewers yet again, just to reiterate what Diddy has said all along. He says, enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Megan, I have to say
that, and him saying that includes Cassie. When he says individuals looking for a quick payday, that's what he means. Now, let me ask you, is there anybody in the chat that believes Diddy is 100% innocent of all of these allegations, and he is being lambasted and run down by some kind of secret cabal that wants to end him and use him as an excuse? Again, this is America, dog. America, we build them up to tear them down, all right? There was always they would assimilate the two fighters. They would say Joe Louis was an American and he went to war, he fought in World War II and this and that, and then they'll say Muhammad Ali was a draft dodger, right? And that was a whole big thing. But at the end of the American war hero Joe Louis's life, he was a doorman in Vegas telling stories at tables. You know what I'm saying? This because the IRS took everything from him. All right? So this country is known to build you up, to break you down. Does anybody think that Diddy didn't do it? Everybody saying Diddy did it. Ian said Diddy's lying. Jonathan said Diddy on one like he did Drake 0 to 100. And Jay Castle said Diddy did it. All right. That's
Frenzy
crazy.
of the Me Too movement, 2017,
Wow.
2018.
How do you throw it all
the
away like that? How you throw it all away like that? For what? Lame. Super lame. Can't give a lame power, man.
Powerful titans in lots of different industries finally get caught. No one really knew. I'm talking no one mean the public. Maybe people within those industries knew, and it was a closely guarded secret, what have you. And then all was laid to bear. But for Diddy, it seems like this is reminiscent of that, where maybe his fans, his legion of supporters, when all these allegations came out, it was somewhat reminiscent of that. Is that an apt comparison?
Yeah. I mean, I think we can see any kind of, just the struggle of him to kind of deal with this, public relations crisis that he has. And then it's always a matter of people grasping what they're up against and whether they can overcome this or not. So, I mean, I think he was, like anyone, probably wondering if he was going to be facing criminal charges. But given the raids that we saw, that we're seeing today, and all the steps that the feds had to go through to get authorization for those raids. I mean, I'm various people that they needed to talk to, interviews that may be being conducted right now. The idea that he did not see this coming at all. I mean, I do think this probably surprised him today, but I mean, him hiring the criminal defense attorneys that he did and everything, I think they all had to have been prepared for some kind of criminal investigation.
There it is. He knew it was coming, just didn't know when. HS said, did he hire Bobby Stemheim a few months ago? She's a top ex-trafficker, ex-trafficking lawyer in the U.S. Oh, ex-trafficking lawyer. Yeah, I'm going to start using that. That sounds better. Ex-trafficking lawyer in the U.S., so he definitely knew this was coming, absolutely. But it's a story that's been told many times. R. Kelly is that story. There's, Weinstein's that story. Just a bunch of lames with power. You give a lame power, he's going to abuse it. Weinstein couldn't talk crazy to Dame Dash. Dame Dash would tell him, I'll slap you in your face. Don't talk to me like that, right? But he could put pressure on a young lady looking for a job and exude his power on her. So they know who to pick on. Process, I guess. Dan Sosa said, yo, Papo, Jenny from the block knows the whole bunch of stuff. Dan from New Jersey. Salutes, Dan. I bet you Jenny from the block got a lot of info. She's at home right now like, oh my God, I hope they don't put my name in this. Jay Castle said, I will never understand why people are willing to risk it all. I don't get it, dog.
They haven't already actually known about a criminal investigation for a while. It's tough to say, but it's definitely remarkable just in terms of the stature of his star, and to have this kind of federal investigation into someone like that.
See, that's what Nathan's talking about right there, the stature of his star. How big of a name he is, how big of a, like you said, an empire he's built. And he's popped. He's donezo. They have something solid on him, solid enough for them to get the warrant to go in the house. Now they go in the houses. If they find something else, that gives them more grounds for more warrants and more investigation. But I think they already have enough to at least hold him, to find him. Absolutely.
I guess that's what I was getting at. Whether or not, the allegations like what we've been reading over the last couple of months coming out of the woodwork, was that somewhat of an open secret? I know you don't know Diddy, I don't know Diddy, but how is he perceived in the industry as that?
When was the last time we saw Diddy outside? Y'all tell me if y'all remember. I don't really do award shows and shit. I don't watch award shows and shit, so I don't know if he's been out for the Grammys and I want to know where he's been out in public and how was the pop? Did they boo him? Were they quiet? Did they cheer him? Where has he shown his face since the whole Cassie thing? Has he been out and about? Has he been doing shows? Or has he been hiding his face? I think he should have hid his face the day he paid Cassie. Because dancing around, you made yourself look like a dude just got off of ex-trafficking allegations, bro. You look like you just got off of ex-assault allegation doing all that dancing and jumping around and shit. Jay Casher said refueling for the next leg of the trip. Quite possible, dog. We saw the kids get backed out the house with guns on them and shit like that. He did not want that to be him. The kids should have gone miniature golfing or some shit today. You know what I mean? Instead, they was at the crib chilling, and They were the ones that got perp walked to the outside. He was avoiding that. All of that jumping around his plane did. They said his plane went back and forth between North and Southern Cali. Then it bounced off and went to Antigua. Chuck Chigon said they want him for anything that will stick. Now he's been too loud. Anything that's gonna stick, anything that they can get the paperwork started on him legally instead of just civilly, they're on that. That's what they want.
Or as something else. I mean, clearly this is hugely reputationally damaging for someone of his stature.
Yeah, very reputationally damaging. And my understanding is from the hip hop world that there's been talk about this for a long time. That he's long had allegations about this, kind of following him around. So there's definitely,
Listen, man, if you a super freak, that's one thing. Once you start creating victims with your private shit, that's another thing, bro.
A crowd or people who've known him for a long time who are kind of interested and also see this as a long time coming kind of thing. I think for the mainstream public, I mean, people, maybe my age who still might be tempted to call him Puff Daddy, might not realize all of this or all of that he's been up to. But I think the people who've been following his career really closely, this is not super surprising, or it's not new to have these allegations.
I see. Megan, if you could, when you heard that this was a open federal sex trafficking investigation, did that stop you in your tracks? What did you make of that?
That's exactly what it is. It got nothing to do with no Keefe D, no shooting, no nothing. An open ex assault trafficking situation right here. And again, how many secrets of other people does he hold? He's probably in a very powerful leverage position as far as secrets that he holds of other people.
I mean, I figured it would be that if just given who he is, the international, and then obviously interstate, I'd be surprised if it was just stayed in NYPD investigation. And I do go back to, there was a leak from
again, this is an NYPD thing, and they hit the houses in LA, hit the houses in Miami, or the house in Miami.
NYPD right after the Cassie lawsuit that said something about him. He's facing a criminal investigation, and then
look at that. That could have been him right there. That would have been Puff right there. He didn't want that picture out there. That he did not want. He'd rather be on that plane. He'd rather be in a car driving down Route 66, headed somewhere pissing in a Gatorade bottle, than have a picture of himself looking like that.
Took it back and said somebody had released something that they shouldn't, but it just kind of gave a whiff of there's definitely something going on here. And
no shit,
NYPD might have had the case taken away from them by Homeland Security. It becomes a bigger jurisdiction than that.
Jay Castor said that's the kind of guy he is. Let everybody else do the perp walk while I jump on my jet and bounce. Absolutely. I think everybody around him has always been collateral damage. That's why I believe Gene Deal when he says that Puff said, I don't care, I'm gonna win, I don't give a shit if Biggie and Pac died. Like, I feel like you said, he's that kind of dude, bro. He don't take no responsibility. He didn't take responsibility when he got them kids trampled at Howard or whatever that was. Did he? They say you did it. If you did it, you tweaking, you dunzo. It is absolutely foolish to believe that you are gonna be the one privileged with enough money and power to walk around and victimize people with impunity. But if you're falsely accused, that's a whole different story. But if you're walking around making victims, then you got what's coming to you, bro. And if you're the kind of person that has to take something from a woman or take something from an underage human, then there's no rehabilitation for you, bro. We got to put you in the pond back there. And we're going to see some more. They're going to perp walk him eventually. Is it going to be something quiet where he quietly turns himself in the underground tunnel of a New York City police station? That's quite possible. But we don't even see pictures of him walking into the police station. But very possible.
Do we know if Diddy was at home either in LA
or
Miami during all of this? I would imagine that would be quite something if he were. Do we have any reporting to suggest that?
If he were, he would have got perp walk, slow motion.
You know, I have not heard. I've seen some online tracking of a jet that's registered to one of his LLCs, that someone's tracking some movement on it. Apparently left the Van Nuys Airport near LA, kind of right where he is this afternoon. But of course, it doesn't give us a photo of the people who are on the jet. So, you know, it's just kind of another piece of speculation. But
and like so, as I said, for all we know, that jet is just a distraction. You know, he's on foot somewhere in the Arizona desert. Chucky, go take a ride. You find that fool. He gonna have to be turning himself in the next couple hours, or he's gonna have to be, you know, the juices loose status. You know, him and Usher in a jet. You know, flying off into the sunset.
You know, you do wonder, typically when this happens, you know, there are search warrants being served. The agents who are serving the search warrants might have some people with them who are, you know, hoping to conduct some interviews. You know, maybe interview some people, perhaps, you know, voluntarily at first, or, you know, if there's, you know, who knows what's going on. So there could be, you know, quite a lot for him to deal with. And we just haven't heard any word from him. I've heard reports that his sons were seen in one camera shot, but
Chucky said he's gonna pull a Russell Simmons and leave to Bali. I thought he was already with Russell somewhere. They was already in a full Lotus position. You know what I'm saying? Smoking, you know, on their own little island over there. But and it's quite possible. Again, we ain't seen him. We see where his things are. We know where his LA house is. We know where his Miami house is. We know where his kids are. We know where their friends are. We know where his plane is. We know where his cars are. We don't know where Waldo's at, dog. We got to find Waldo. Is he with Russell? Who knows?
It's also very common when these raids happen that, you know, everybody could be put in handcuffs.
He's a coward leaving his kids there. I believe so too, because I don't believe he didn't know they were coming today. I believe even if he just found out last night, he knew they were coming today
at first, and then they just kind of sorted out at the end, and nobody actually ends up being arrested that day on charges. We just we just don't know yet. And especially,
again, we don't know if the kids were arrested, but we know they were cuffed.
With it being a federal investigation like this, it's very possible that you know, this is just one step before some hopeful criminal charges. That I'm actually covering a federal trial in LA federal court about a big LA City Hall corruption case, that big investigation over a number of years. And one thing that stood out to me is how many search warrants and how many raids they did really over the course of like 2 years before anyone was even charged criminally. So
sit your ass in his grass.
Be that we don't
see. I thought they had her cuffed, but she's not cuffed. They're searching her though.
See criminal charges on this for a while, or, you know, we could see criminal charges sooner than later. It just kind of depends. But the search warrant is, of course, just another investigative step. I mean, if they were ready to file charges and serve an indictment, perhaps they would have just done that already. But they're here at these properties gathering information that they hope.
Okay, so she's saying if they had a charge, they would have just brought that shit outside already. But I'm thinking there is a charge. They just don't want to say it.
To use a grand jury indictment, present to a grand jury, get criminal charges secured. So we could be a little ways out from any kind of finalization of any kind of criminal case here.
But Megan, you're watching right now, to your point. I mean, there are individuals on the property today there in Holmby Hills who were cuffed and who were detained. I want to start this over because you were watching. See there? I mean, look at that. So you said...
Look at that.
This was somewhat...
Look at what? A family member, a friend getting dog walked down the in the street in front of the neighbors. And we still don't have nothing. Just the airplane has been tracked, and that's all. All right? But here's what happens with these other sites. In the words of the homie Zaya, can you read? Because these people do not read the article. They say, oh, his jet was tracked. They got him. Got him. And it's like, come on, y'all. You got to read the article, bro. Oh, but we saw a picture of him. Yeah, but that's an old picture, so they can show you the plane, and they can show you that it's his. All that money and living that money lifestyle only to have his daughter basically go through what these lower class daughters go through. They're getting perp walked up the street, dog. He did a disservice to his bloodline.
Yeah, I mean, the raids that I've read about, and just the LA public corruption cases, and one in particular involving the Department of Water and Power, a guy actually filed a class action lawsuit, and his proposed class action was like anyone who'd ever gotten their house raided by the cops. And the lawsuit was just like how unfair the feds are when they come in and raid you and put your kids in handcuffs and scream at your, dog and things like that.
Yeah.
Again, we know they did that to the twins. We know that when the feds came for the wives, the Flores twins' wives, they was full tactical gear, guns on the kids, all of that, cuffed the kids, everything. They don't play no games when they coming.
So
I mean, it's scary.
Diddy might
it's a very
qualify for
scary
class
situation
count.
for anyone to go through, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, final thoughts here. We're coming up on the top of the hour. This is going to be, I think, a story that has legs. Are you anticipating any statements from Diddy? Do you think he has to come out on camera, maybe, or in written form, just to do damage control at least?
Possibly damage control, but I'm thinking at this point he needs to be having a serious discussion
Talk with his lawyers.
counsel
Hell
about,
yeah.
who cares about my reputation? What
Yeah,
about
listen, reputation be damned, Papa. It's about your freedom now. Your reputation, no coming back from this.
freedom? I mean, we're looking at his liberty right now. I mean, everything else was lawsuits, career,
Absolutely.
public relations, and entertainment news type stuff. But a criminal investigation, a criminal case like this, if they do come out and secure an indictment against him, that's very, very serious. So
Definitely.
he would be remiss not to be
Megan,
a little bit more concerned about
Megan,
the criminal case.
we gotta end this here.
Bro, don't ask her a question and then rush her.
Megan Cuniff, we thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Search warrant activity at homes belonging to musician, producer Sean Diddy Combs on Mondays related to a blah, blah, blah. We know all this. Did y'all catch him? Y'all ain't catch him. We saw this. These guys are stuffing Rolexes up their sleeves. They got the tank. They showed up in the tank. Such a war zone that the paparazzi is all here. Ridiculous. In November 2023, Combs settled a suit brought by his former girlfriend, singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura, who alleged she was raped and subjected to years of repeated physical and other abuses by Combs. A decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing, an attorney for Combs told CNN in a statement at the time. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He's happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Mr. Ventura the best. Listen, you ain't got enough money to quiet this down, Puff. Not no more. Can Cassie be a co-defendant anyway? Because I believe she helped lure other girls and guys. Yeesh. I mean, she could say under duress, I guess. And probably win because he settled with her in civil court. I don't know. CNN just said his son Justin has been accused of getting underage girls for Diddy. But is this accusation as of now? Quite possible. I don't know how Homeland Security could justify all of this personnel and all of this raid without having a bit more than accusation. But again, they probably got what they wanted then. If his son is part of the scenario, the fact that they caught his son without catching Diddy probably going to work on their behalf. Because they get to put pressure on the kid. They get to put pressure on the kids. You put pressure on the kids, they give you all daddy's dirty little deeds, even if they did them themselves. Because if the kids are involved, now you're dealing with a wild card. That kid gonna hold water? What are you doing getting your son to get you chicks for, bro? You fucking lame. You ain't got no game. You singing all these songs all this time, producing these records, supposedly writing these songs, but you got no fucking game? You don't know how to talk a girl into your room? All that money, and you had to resort to getting your young son to get you young chicks? All that bread, and you had to resort to something that can just take it all away from you? It's like, oh, you guys got all this money, you're so cool, all this influence, but you're pussies. You're a bunch of bitches. You got no game. I wouldn't trade my swag for you in a million fucking years. There's dudes out there that have always looked up and said, oh, you know, want to have the Diddy lifestyle and look like Diddy. And they thought, every time, they thought Diddy was cool when Diddy was talking that shit on camera. And they're like, yeah. I always looked at it like, stop acting. Look at this fucking dork. Look at this lame. So I wouldn't trade who I am in a million years to be that insecure, that empty, with all that bread that I got to go take it for somebody or do something dirty, any of that shit, you know? And these dudes be all the same chick. All of them, same chick. This one, that one, the other one, Michael B. Jordan, this guy, that guy, Puffy's son, their nephew, the cousin. Like, get the fuck out of here. Bunch of fucking dorks. All these women in the world, all this bread you got. You don't have no economic problems, no money that's gonna keep you from doing the most romantic shit in the world you could do for any woman. But you guys need power because you pussy. You never had power anywhere else. You couldn't exert power over other people. If you gotten to the point where you gotta be with your son's girl, you an extra different kind of lame. And you spent your whole life telling everybody how fucking cool you are. Yeah? How in Harlem you were you were what everybody looked to as this and that. Like, come on, man, get the fuck out of here. You was a lame. They knew you was a fucking lame. You was just rich. But they knew you were a fucking lame. You didn't fool nobody. The real dude 50 seen you. 50 didn't go shopping. That's why he didn't go shopping, because he knew what the fuck it was. Question is, who decided to go shopping? How much leverage does Diddy got on them? Let's just say it comes out in the news. They don't catch him today. Comes out in the news tonight that they got a case on him. And they got charges, and they're coming to get him. Do you guys think he unalives himself? Running from a situation like this? Do you guys think that he's weak enough to do that in this situation? Damn, stealing his son's girl, scandalous. But HS says, stole or shared? Great question. Woo, shit. But did the internet throw conspiracies all over him about his baby mama and how she passed away? Were there people throwing allegations around at him? I believe Gene Deal said he used to treat her like shit too, which his son should have got vengeance for that. Instead, he borrowed him his bitch. Crazy.
We gonna get you and your little dog too. And congratulations, young Miami. Run as fast as Cassie did.
Shit, that's another thing. You know, him and Albie Shore shared a baby mama. Did he have something to do with that? Too much. A lot of bad shit happens around this guy. He might run and send a lawyer. I think you're right. Antigua was a jumping point. I think so too, man. I think he was like, all right, we're gonna sit on this runway. When the shit get thick, we're gonna get the fuck out of here.
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people.
Facts.
Andre Harrell,
Deceased.
Albie Shore,
Almost deceased.
Heavy D,
Deceased.
and Puffy. And Kim
Deceased.
was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide and they found toxins in her body. Then right after that, Al had a meeting and I was gonna meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you wanna know what they all had in common though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Albie Shore was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma?
He wish he was right now. She's wildin'.
Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is gone. Just him. I guess Al disappointed you. You know, it's when you see this bullshit ass motherfucking game fucking with people that you love, that you like, you know, that you. It's too many coincidences.
Too many.
Whole lot.
You.
Fuck you, honeycomb.
Oh. Stamp it.
We gonna get you and your little dog too. And congratulations, young Miami. Run as fast as Cassie did.
Yo, when she said "and your young dog," she talking about his son? She know his son is involved in wilding too? Is that who she talking about when she say his little dog? We gonna get you, honeycomb, and your little dog too.
Stamp it.
We gonna get you and your little dog too. And congratulations, young Miami. Run as fast as Cassie did.
They told a story about Cassie one time, and she was saying someone had asked her why she cut her hair, and she was like, well, Diddy said he just liked it that way. And they said when she answered the question, it was like she was in a trance. Like she was just like, I just don't know. Diddy just said he would like my hair this way. And they was like so in awe, like how she didn't even have a thought about it. It was just what he wanted.
That's how he operates. He has people followed. He has people watched. He does all kinds of fucking, he's a fucking piece of shit.
People do weird shit, man. People do weird shit, all right? I listened to Tim Kennedy the other day, and he ain't the first person. There's been many other people. And they talk about, oh, how did you meet your wife? And these guys have a stalker-ass story, and nobody thinks twice about it. You know what I'm saying? All of that following, sending, and this and that and the other, and looking for and tracking, and yo, you really empty inside, man. All that money, all of that fake confidence, fuck out of here.
I feel bad for the kids.
Don't feel bad for all the kids if one of them is perpetuating the bullshit, though.
Like, don't think that there aren't moments when I'm speaking honestly about that motherfucker that I pray that his children don't hear it. Because that's still their dad. I know what it's like to have a baby with a fucked up ass motherfucker.
I think they know who he is.
As much as I can't stand my ex-husband, I would never want my son to feel bad about either one of us being his parent. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. I would never want that.
Exactly.
But their father is the fucking devil. He the fucking devil.
Hold that thought. Why do you think T.D. Jakes was at Puff Daddy's birthday party?
Good question. People had reasons for being on the Epstein plane that didn't necessarily go to the island, that didn't even know that they were on an Epstein plane. You know, it was just a chartered plane. Those things happen, but she about to drop the T on T.D. Jakes. Let's see what happens right here.
T.D. Jakes was at Puff Daddy's birthday party.
You know, do you remember when Bernie Mac played the minister in Friday?
Oh.
Yes.
That's how I feel about T.D. Jakes.
Rest in peace, Uncle Bernie.
Like, that's how I see. Oh, Miss Parker, come to pray. For him to be at a Diddy party?
What you doing?
I don't know. Like, I feel the same way about that as I feel about when Tyler Perry came to his church and laid hands on him and he caught the Holy Spirit from Tyler Perry.
Really? That happened?
Tyler Perry is the bishop of what? Like, I've never, like, and I cut a check for 100, and I'm gonna lay my hands on your bishop. And he said, and then the bishop said, it's on the fucking internet. He's doing all of this, right?
Everybody falling apart in the background.
And then there's a woman on the dais screaming, push the baby out. Birth that baby. I'm like, what? Are we a church? Or is this about to turn into like a whole nother scene, like a lost scene from Eyes Wide Shut? Like, this shit is looking a little weird.
It's all weird, man. You ever seen the video, the Elton John video? That train doesn't stop here anymore. And it's Justin Timberlake playing a young Elton John, and every door that opened up at the party was a different kind of debauchery, a different kind of way that you could throw yourself away in each room. That's the game.
I mean, if Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons: money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties: money and sex. I hope it was for money.
Charitable contribution.
I hope it was for money, because arguing about who's going to put the strap on is...
Damn, wildin', crazy.
That can be a very uncomfortable situation. You know, we're going to pray on it, praise the Lord, you know.
Amen.
So I wouldn't be surprised if some storages or some of Puffy properties be getting raided real soon, because they need to get to those tapes. They get one of those tapes with him with those little people that's been making the accusations.
Ooh, yeah, they get one of those tapes. It's a wrap, son.
Ooh, man. Done.
What I thought. Diddy got his running shoes on? He burning the souls out of his shit. His shit melting to the pavement right now.
Be the type here, he'll blow his brains out. Guarantee y'all.
That.
Ooh, man. Done. But Puffy the type here, he'll blow his brains out. Guarantee y'all. Or do like he did on that corkscrew lie. How he did. The next thing that's going to be happening, and after this, is now you're going to start seeing some criminal investigations getting opened. And because when you get too much of this smoke.
Who's going to be the first celebrity to be like, free Diddy? Who's going to be the first one that's out there talking about free Diddy?
Law enforcement generally gets involved. So that'd be the next thing that will be happening.
Got to remember, he wasn't just head of security for Death Row. Reggie Wright was a police officer. He understands how this shit works. IB said 100% it will be Kanye. It was almost already Floyd Mayweather. Remember, nobody even asked him about Diddy, and he jumped in that shit, right? So it might be Floyd Mayweather. He might have already flown that flag already.
To Puffy, unfortunately, for his sake. Y'all know I'm one that believes if you ain't getting psychological help, getting some type of help, and you're a victim, you got to come right away with me and tell it. That's what's happening to y'all boy Puff, P. Diddy, Brother Love, and all of that. Don't act like y'all just starting to hear it. Because I've been telling y'all, the brother is a homosexual. And he's fighting it, trying to hide it, and he needs to just come clean. Yeah. How? It hasn't happened yet. He hasn't been raided yet. Trust Reggie motherfucking Wright. They coming. They talk about the secret tapes and the secret cameras and all of that. Too much. Too much for the police, for a law enforcement official to convince a DA and a judge to issue a warrant to at least go for a fishing expedition, to go hunting, to go looking for something. Hopefully, Diddy is smart enough to call up his good friend Russell.
He's holding the trach in his neck because it's wheezing. He got sick while he was in jail over COVID. He came out way different than he went in.
I'm saying, hey, Russell, I got these tapes. Because, you know, it's one thing about pedophiles and murderers and stuff like that. They do not like getting rid of the evidence.
That's bananas. The fact that you would risk anything by doing it at all, but then you want to hold on to your trophies, you sick fuck. They probably froze his accounts. I hope he took some cash. Boy, he better have duffel bags, Chucky.
Going to that shit like crazy. How many times y'all heard somebody get like, damn, how the fuck that nigga still got the gun? That gun would have been in the ocean, here, there, you know.
Vernon Heim said, I think Diddy has the money to get out of it. Nah, I don't think he got that much money. I think money has become not an object as far as this situation goes. He had the money when he paid off Cassie, and then he did a little dance on Instagram the next day. That probably the reason this is all happening.
How they hold? Because they hold on to their tapes. That's why they do it. So they need it. And law enforcement know this. Like I'm always saying, and you too, John, Reggie be lying, Reggie making up shit. But if y'all go and listen to my videos before, y'all see I done spoke on all this bullshit before. Been telling y'all, Puffy Combs is a fucking homosexual.
I'll tell you this, Vernon. You said end the connections. Now that right there is different. And it's not just the connections. I feel like he has leverage on his connection. He's holding secrets too. He got secrets that he knows about as well. PR Black said once he paid her off, that sealed his fate. That sealed his fate. He did that little stupid dance the next day. I feel alive. What'd he say? Yeah. All right, you stupid motherfucker. You done. Zoraida said the story's always in the music. Diddy is living up to his legacy. Can't take my pride. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving in these runners. I'm in my running shoes. We burning these bitches out today. He's gone. I feel you. I'm with you. Lawyers for Cassie and Rodney Little Rod Jones released statements amid Homeland Security raiding Diddy's home. Lawyers for singer Cassie and producer Rodney Little Rod Jones have released statements following the news that Diddy's homes were raided by Homeland Security Monday. We will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct, Cassie's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, said in a statement per Rolling Stone's Nancy Dillon. Nancy Dillon, quote, says, about damn time, sometimes justice is delayed. Sometimes justice delayed is not justice denied, so long as justice ultimately arrives. Lawyer Tyrone Blackburn tells Rolling Stone. He reps Liza Gardner and producer Rodney Little Rod Jones, who allege Combs actually assaulted them. Combs denies the allegation. Casey's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, responds to raid on Sean Diddy Combs. We always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct. Back in November, Cassie, who previously dated Diddy, given name Sean Combs, accused him of great trafficking and physical abuse. Combs and Cassie settled for an undisclosed amount a day after the lawsuit was filed. Jones sued Combs in federal court in February, accusing the mogul of actually harassing, rugging, and threatening him over more than a year. Tyrone Blackburn, an attorney representing Rodney Little Rod Jones, also gave a statement to the publication saying, about damn time, sometimes justice delayed is not justice denied, so long as the justice ultimately arrives. Combs do think he got bars and shit. Combs is reportedly involved in a federal investigation while also facing lawsuits from numerous accusers who are alleging rape or actually assaulted them. Monday, his homes in Miami and Los Angeles were raided by the feds. Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as a part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available, a spokesperson told USA Today. So Cassie's lawyer made a statement. Little Rod's lawyer made a statement. Everybody got statements. It's going down. I think Diddy's on the run. If anything else starts happening, I'm going to go live. I'm going to put it in the Discord. I'm going to give y'all the link to the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, get in there. Their notifications are much better than YouTube's notifications. Facts. The end of Diddy, 89%. 10% say he'll get through it. 46 votes. Oh, here we go. Wait, we got development on video. We got a development. Diddy on video pacing around the airport after 2 federal raids. We have eyes on Diddy. Diddy spotted. TMZ has the first video. I told you they would. TMZ has the first video of Diddy after his homes were raided by the feds Monday. And instead of being in handcuffs and on the ground, the guy was kind of just walking around. Check out this footage we obtained, which we shot around 3 p.m. today, Monday, a couple of hours after the raids at his home got underway. At the Miami Opelika Executive Airport, where eyewitnesses tell us Diddy and some other people got stopped by the feds. Here's what we do know now. He's not in Antigua. The plane is there. He is not. He didn't even have to be on that plane last night when it went back and forth in Cali. Who knows what that plane was doing yesterday? Who knows who it was taking home? We're told this shows Diddy pacing around outside a customs office there at the airport. And as you can see, he's not being detained, and he certainly doesn't seem to be in custody here. Instead, Diddy is just walking around all by his lonesome. He's probably thinking of a song in his head and shit. Oh, we got eyes on Diddy, y'all. We got eyes on Diddy. Hold on. Let's make sure that there's some audio for this. He's looking real lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. He's looking bad right now. Oh, that's deep thought right there. That's contemplation. That's I don't want to follow.
What's going to happen next, Diddy?
What'd he say?
I guess you wonder what's going to happen next, Diddy.
See, now that's one thing about these TMZ dudes. Man, shut your ass up, man. If you're going to videotape me, but shut your punk ass up. Don't talk shit to me. You a bottom feeder too, bitch.
I know.
Well, he looking sick. Is he on the phone? He ain't walking far. Walking in a little circle right there. He gonna cry when he get to the car, though. When he get to the plane, he gonna cry. Right? But they also said they were approached by feds. You right, Chucky? They might have took his passport. Just while this investigation goes on, they probably just looking through whatever they got from the houses to see if there's reason to come get him. But I bet you he wishing he was on that plane right now. All right, we got eyes on Diddy. All right, so all that's left now is for something to go left and them to snatch him up. We'll see what that's gonna look like in the near future.